Hello, and welcome to another episode of SkyrimPlus. Today I'm featuring 4 homes with epic trophy rooms for your special items. We'll be seeing highlights of each home's rooms and features, and we'll take a complete walkthrough of each trophy room. If you want to see these homes in their entirety, I'll leave the links to their tours in my pinned comment. So without further ado, let's begin. First, we're heading to Riften, where we'll check out Canalside Bunker. To obtain the home, you'll want to buy the key from Bursey Honeyhand at the Pond Prawn. The cost is dependent on your wealth. Once you've bought the key, head down the stairs. You'll find the home right across from Elgrim's Elixirs. And when you enter, you have an open room with a bar, a fire, a place to eat, a smithing suite minus the smelter, which also has an amazing fresco, which is my favorite type of decoration. We have an alchemy lab and arcane enchanter, and these stations have themed name storage and some bookcases for the bookworms of Skyrim. The home has a bathroom with a tub and a wash basin, a room for 3 followers, which has beautiful sheets for their beds, a space for their gear, some cool decoration of different shields, and different armor sets. There's a room for 2 children that looks super cozy. It has a massive family tree, which I think looks incredible. And you have a candlelit stairway that leads to your master bedroom. The master has a bed for you and your spouse, and here's the far wall, which is open to the rest of the house and provides some gorgeous lighting. And now that we've seen the other rooms, we'll head to the secured door near the forge, and when we open it up, it reveals an epic trophy room. Just look at this place. Wow! You have some mannequins in the middle to display your best armor, a couple of display cases, here's another bookshelf, and there's a place to store your Elder Scrolls. There's a spot for the bust of the Grey Fox and one of the eyes of the Falmers. You've got your insects in a jar. You've got a spot for your black books. And check out this Dragon Priest mask display wall. That's epic. Speaking of walls, here's a wall to display your dragon claws, and when we look up, you have a Dark Brotherhood themed window, several animals' heads that have been hunted, and then when you check out this chandelier, you have a bronze bird on it. That looks pretty cool. And then on the far wall where the door was, you have some maps of Skyrim and a cool display for your shields. As we head to the next corner, you can see that we have some more mannequins on the left. And then in this corner, we have some of the Daedric weapons that you get from their quests. There's a piece of artwork and a magnifying glass. Here's a spot for Spellbreaker, Mehrunes Razor, the Rings of Hircine and Namira, the Ebony Mail, and Azura Star, followed by a container to store your septums, an archery target, and a skull on a cross. Next to that, we have more Thieves Guild items like the Jeweled Candlestick and the Queen Bee statue, and we end with spots for Baron Zaya's crown, the Paragons, the Mask of Clavicus Vile, and the Augma Infinium. I definitely consider this trophy room in Canalside Bunker as one of the best. Now, we'll leave Riften and start ascending the 7,000 steps to reach our next featured home, Sjel Blad Castle. Sjel Blad is Norwegian for Soul Blade, which is the mod author's name, and believe it or not, this was his first Skyrim mod. The home has tons of unique features and customization. There's a stable where you can buy unique mounts like this spider, or like this mini mammoth. There are 30 plus unique options in total. The home also has a lair where you can get different animal companions, machine companions, undead companions, etc. The lair offers over 100 possible followers you usually couldn't have. The home also has a large living quarters with a huge poster bed, a waterfall, a closet fit for an emperor, and a large pool. It even has a few secrets like this candlestick that opens up the fireplace and reveals a secret library, a secret office space, and a back entrance to the Sanctum of War, which is a unique armory with interesting ways to display your weapons. But if that doesn't offer enough storage, check out the armory. This space has 88 mannequins and over 500 weapons plaques. If this isn't enough space to display your gear, you might be a hoarder. Speaking of displaying things, you also have a tropheum, which shows off different types of animals you've hunted throughout the game. There's a Waygates room that can help you teleport to different locations in Skyrim and Solstheim. There's a common area with tons of recruitable followers, and they have a place to relax while waiting to be recruited by you. You also have barracks with another 20 plus followers to recruit. There are lots of shops, a training area, and they have their own bar, as well as a fancy fireplace to keep warm. If you're feeling feisty, there's a pit where you can choose to fight. You can choose what types of opponents, how many, if you want to include traps on the floor, and if you win, you get to keep the loot of the fallen, and you can earn tokens. These tokens can be cashed in at the Hall of Ascension, where you can use them to get perk points or stat upgrades. Or if you feel like that's too cheaty, you can just come to admire the eye candy, since the room looks so cool. After all of that fighting, you're probably hungry, so you can head to the kitchen where you have an oven, a cooking pot by a boisterous flame, and you have a garden area that's an alchemist's dream, including somewhere between 100 and 200 fertile soils. The home also has one of the coolest smithing suites with a dragon pouring lava into your smelter, a well-reinforced grindstone and workbench with tons of named storage for smithing items, one of the coolest tanning racks I've ever seen, and your forge. You also have a mine that's attached that has every type of ore in Skyrim and Solstheim, and there's a room for spider imbuing too if you like the creepy crawlies. In the sanctuary, you have access to all 13 standing stones under this unique tree, and all of the shrines to the divines are spread throughout this room. There are tons of vendors, like this man, who can sell you teleport spells to all of the rooms throughout the home. You can also use these sigil stones to travel around the home too. They're in every room. And you also have void storage, so you can reach your items no matter which room you're in. You'll also find a large library in this space that can hold over 400 books. And you have quite the alchemy lab to make your potent potions, with a cool place to organize them by their effects, and a garden to collect more ingredients and insects for your potions. You can also hire alchemists, foragers, and all sorts of different employees, which I covered in great detail in my full walkthrough. You can also add on some additional rooms by purchasing them from your steward. The sanctuary also houses an incredible staff enchanter, a mystifying arcane enchanter, which is one of the coolest I've ever seen, and your very own Atronach forge. Those are pretty rare. As unique as this home is, there are some wings that went unfinished, like the Hallowed Grove, and this unique sea-themed children's room. And check out those beds. Don't those look amazing? But alas, the space doesn't work because it wasn't finished. Another feature that's both finished and useful is the customization chamber. On this dragon statue in the main hall, there's a pull chain, and when you pull it, it makes the dragon turn purple, which allows you to walk in the water and travel to the customization chamber, where you can change the different banners, control if there's a bard or jester in the main space, choose the type of guards that patrol the grounds, select the type of throne that you want. The options are really endless. And now that we've seen all of those awesome features, it's finally time to check out the home's trophy room, the Vault. And as we enter, you can see a huge Dragon Priest display, a mannequin to place Mirak's gear, as well as many word walls to store each of the Dragon Priest masks. Each display has a dagger rack too. To the left, there's a spot to store the Staff of Magnus, as well as Ariel's bow and shield. This large pit is a dynamic treasure hoard, so you put gold in and it stores it and represents it in a Scrooge McDuck style hoard. I can imagine going for a swim in there. Next, we have some pedestals for our Elder Scrolls. And by the Ariel statue, you have a spot for the Paragons, as well as some extra weapon plaques and display cases. And check out this unique design with the puzzle rings. This display is for your dragon claws. They're each displayed in the mouth of these creatures that look like the ones from the movie Tremors. And next we have some displays for the Daedric quest items, like the Mask of Clavicus File, the Mace of Molag Bal, the Ebony Mail, and then here's another treasure hoard. Here's a spot for Valendrung, and there's the Wabbajack. Shea Gorath would approve. And then we have spots for Azura's Star, Dawnbreaker, and the Ebony Blade. Now we'll go see the other side of the room. There's that cool Dragon Priest display again. He looks bigger from this side. Check out this black book display with the ominous glowing book in the middle. That's so neat. Here are some more Daedric displays for Sanguine's Rose, the Savior's Hide, and the Ring of Hircine. There's the Skull of Corruption, and here's a third treasure hoard with 100,000 septims deposited. Here's a spot for Spellbreaker, the Ring of Namira, the Ogma Infinium, and Mehrunes Razor. And our last room with the Dwarven Centurion has a place to store the Resonance Gems, as well as more weapon plaques and display cases. Lastly, you have the option to have a legendary dragon guard your treasure, which is an awesome addition. With all of the features this home has to offer, Blad Castle is one unique home, with one truly amazing trophy room. The next home on our list is Rayek's End. To get there from Blad, head west. It's on the path right next to the White River between Riverwood and probably the most visited town in Skyrim, Whiterun. When you look at the waterfall on the path towards Riverwood, the entrance is to the right. And I know that some of you don't like cave homes, but this one's extra cozy. When you enter, you'll find the remains of the former owner. He even has an arrow in his knee, so he's a former adventurer like you. In his knapsack, you'll find a helpful weapon, a key to the home, some septims, and a note. The note explains why the home is meant for you. After reading the note, you can activate Rayek and bury him. This part of the cave has a shrine to Talos. There's a prayer mat and a spot for his amulet. There's a tanning rack for your leather needs, and another tanning rack and some displays for different pelts. You have a wood chopping block for your firewood needs, and if you go underneath the waterfall, you'll find a pull chain. When pulled, the wall opens up and reveals a foyer to the front door. And when you open it with a key, you're ready to head inside. To your right, you'll find this elaborate alchemy lab. It comes with a spot for the insects in a jar, and across from that is a cool place to store a couple of weapons and an armor set. That blue lighting is everything. Further down the hall, you'll find the rest of your smithing suite. You have an anvil underneath the Skyrim symbol. You have a smelter with an opening for ventilation. And there's a workbench and grindstone with some themed art and a Talos statue. Across from your smithy is a pool that can cure your diseases and give you a buff, and it comes with a place to drop off your equipment for more immersion. As we go further down the hall towards the bedroom, we find one of the coolest arcane enchanters I've ever seen. Look at those colors. There's a spot to store the Staff of Magnus, a display for several of the game's most important rings, and there's an awesome display for some of the different School of Magic skill books with eye-catching effects. As you can see, this is quite the impressive space. And right across from this is a beautifully lit library, with distinct spots for particular books. There's also spaces for artifacts like the White File and the Exquisite Sapphire, Pelagius's Hip Bone, a Sigil Stone, the Skull Keys, and the Dwemer Puzzle Cube. Now, we'll head further down the hall to see the bedroom. It has a double bed, statues of Dibella, a glowing dragon skull, and a calming water feature. I'm ready to move here in real life minus any spiders. Across from the bed is a bar and a map of Skyrim, and between the bed and bar is an entrance to the grotto. And check this place out. It looks amazing. After heading down the stairs, you'll find a fish hatchery, a vegetable garden with harvestable food, 6 fertile soils to plant whatever you want, an apiary to gather bee-related ingredients, and this gorgeous tree, accented by some awesome lighting and gently falling petals. And if you cross the water, there's a few ore veins you can mine. For a fairly compact home, Rayek's End is flexing its creativity with spaces like these. Now, let's head back upstairs into the bedroom, where you'll find an oven by the bedside fire. And on the other side of the fire, you have a cooking pot for the rest of your cooking needs. And on the other side of the room, you'll find a closet with storage for all sorts of weapons and armor, as well as a change appearance mirror underneath the Skyrim wall art. And next to this is an office space. It contains a long journal. Really long, but it's an excellent read. And between the closet and office is an opening for your next epic trophy room. Let's go check it out. As we come down the stairs to enter the trophy room, we find some custom dagger displays for the Blade of Woe and Keening. That Sithis stained glass and those dwarven heads are super creative. And then you have a wall for some of the special weapons like Mirak's sword and the champion's cudgel. There's the Dawnguard rune axe, and as we turn, we find the skull from Kolbjorn Barrow, the ancient Falmer helmet, and the dancer's pipe, as well as various maps you can collect. And in front of the maps are displays for Ariel's bow and shield, and for Ysgramor's shield and Wuthrad, and the water is a display for the Dragonstone of Bleakfall's Barrow, and next to that is Chilrend, the Ebony Mail, and Mehrunes Razor, and as we turn, we find a spot to store the Dragon Claws, Azura's Star, the Essence Extractor, Sanguine's Rose, the Black Books and Dragon Priest masks, the Paragons and the Elder Scrolls, and as we move to the other side of the room, we have a spot for the Wabbajack, there's a spot for the Mask of Clavicus Vile and the Augment Infinium, there's the Savior's Hide and the Blade of Sacrifice, there's Dawnbreaker and Spellbreaker, the Mace of Molag Bal, the Bust of the Grey Fox and the Crown of Baron Zaya, Thieves Guild trophies like the Eyes of the Falmer, there are more Daedric weapons in the back, and various amulets stored along the bottom. And before I forget, you have a spot to display each hold's guard shields above the room. So not only is Rayek's End an incredible place to live, it also has one of the most epic trophy rooms of any player home. Our last home to visit is Lonewolf's Manor, including all of the suggested add-ons. To get here from Rayek's End, just travel west up the White River towards Riverwood. The home is on the Whiterun side of the Riverwood Bridge, so it's in a really convenient spot. When you arrive, there will be a for sale board by the gate. The home costs 10,000 septims, but it's worth every penny. The home is decorated with these interesting skeletons, and it has some useful features in the front yard, like this water and grain mill. You can use it to make flour for baking or straw for construction. It also includes a training area to sharpen your combat skills, a wood chopping block and grindstone for your smithing needs, a boat dock with some potted plants with fertile soils, a fish hatchery right on the White River, a large horse stable, a tanning rack for your leather needs, a garden with a bunch of fertile soils, and this huge tree towering over the home. It's impressive. When we head up these side stairs, we have an outdoor eating space with a toggleable fire and cooking pot, and on the other side of the house, there's a side yard with a large tree and gazebo. The gazebo is surrounded by flowers and dream catchers, and you have a great spot to sit outside and enjoy perfect weather nights. Right next to the gazebo is an apiary, and behind the gazebo is a shrine of Nocturnal, which looks so good. When you enter the home, there's a kitchen and a dining room. Here's a closer look at the kitchen and bar. You have a teleport spell for your convenience, and you have an oven, cooking pot, and several harvestable ingredients, as well as a sink with toggleable water. And here's your dining room with a table that can seat 6, and some nice decoration around the side. When you head down the stairs, you'll be amazed to find this gigantic swimming pool for you, your family, and your followers to unwind. There are cushions to sit by the pool, and even a place to lay down and relax. These all have idle markers too. You also have crafting stations open to this space, such as your alchemy lab, your arcane enchanter, magical stones that store your light and heavy armor, and one for your weapons and shields, as well as access to all of the shrines and special skill books that make alchemy and enchanting 100% stronger for 10 minutes. You have an interactive map that lets you fast travel to one of the places where the flags are, pleasant decoration like this in each corner, and a full smithing suite with an anvil and smelter, another one of those special books that improve smithing by 100% for 10 minutes, as well as your tanning rack, workbench, grindstone, and tons of named storage for smithing items. You also have this door by the grindstone that leads to a mine that contains all of the ore veins from the game. That's pretty useful. Back by the pool, we have another crafting area with a staff enchanter, all of the standing stones, and a book that increases carry weight by 100, and another that regenerates magicka 100% faster for 72 minutes. You also have a traditional followers room for 12. And now through one of our add-on mods, we've added 2 additional rooms with 88 follower beds, so now there's potential for 100 followers. And if that's not enough people for you, there's another bedroom that supports up to 6 adopted kids. They have some cool toys like these warriors fighting the dragon, and they have some figurines on the shelf, like this Asian-inspired doll, or the statue of whoever dislikes my videos. And they have a training area to sharpen their skills. Next to the kids' room is a bathroom. It has a sink, a cozy bathtub, and a shower, all with toggleable water. Oh yeah, and a toilet with some toilet paper. Fancy. Next to this is a dining space that's open to the pool. And finally, we've reached the master bedroom. It has a snazzy bed for you and your spouse to share, an amazing closet that your spouse will let you use 20% of, a well-decorated office space, and a button to toggle on and off auto-undress, a cozy fireplace, a spot to store your jewelry, and next to that is a suspicious cabinet. Let's see what's inside. And after moving the false back panel, we find an alien door. And when we open it, we find another fancy door that leads us to our last epic trophy room. And this one is unique because it has Legacy of the Dragonborn support. So if you store something there, it shows up here and vice versa. We'll start by checking out this one-of-a-kind Paragon display in the center of the room. How cool. I'm loving the different floors and wall colors. Over here we have a display for all of our dragon claws, a spot for the horn of Jurgen Windcaller, and here's a Dragon Priest mask wall. That's followed by a spot for the Dragonstone of Bleak Falls Barrow, and here are most of the Daedric weapons, such as the Skull of Corruption, the Wabbajack, etc. As we turn past the stairs, here's a spot to display some of our shields, the Archmage's robes, the Amulets of the Divines, the Elder Scrolls, the Rings of Hircine and Namira, Mehrunes Razor, the Savior's Hide, Azura's Star, and Spellbreaker. Whoa, I just felt like Sally Struthers listing off all of the majors for that International Correspondence Schools commercial from the 90s. Anyway, there's the fancy door we came in, and around that, we have some more mannequins and weapons racks to show off your best gear. And if we look in this corner, there's a button to spawn a barrel to get all of the items necessary to fill up the displays, if you'd rather just fill it up right off the bat. Moving past the stairs, we have more spots for shield storage, and we have lots of Thieves Guild quest items to display. Here's a spot for the Black Books and the Augment Infinium, here's even more Thieves Guild items, and here's the Mask of Clavicus Vial. Now we'll head up these stairs and see what's next. At the top of the stairs, you can see that we have more mannequins, weapons racks, and shield plaques, so this could almost double as an armory. And then we have this unique display in the middle with a Spriggan holding up all of the insects in a jar. That's creative, and a little creepy too. Now we'll take a look off of the balcony to see what this whole space looks like. I really like the lighting in here. Those are some neat light sources. And I forgot to show you earlier that all of the rooms have Dwemer light switches. Now we'll go check out the second floor on the other side of the room. As you can see, this balcony is mirroring the other, so we have more mannequins, weapons racks, and shield plaques. But in the center, we have a Ysgramor statue, where you can display his shield and Wuthrad. There are a few more mannequins and shield plaques, and now we'll take a look off of this balcony too. With the amazing doors, its support for Legacy of the Dragonborn, and all of the unique and interesting displays, it's safe to say that Lonewolf's Manor's trophy room is officially epic. Now that we've seen all of the homes, which trophy room was your favorite? Which home was your favorite? And would you want to see a part 2 of this topic? Let me know in the comments. This concludes my feature of 4 Skyrim homes with epic trophy rooms. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.